Hey guys, welcome back to another TFT Best Comps video, and this is going to be for patch 10.7 which dropped today. So let's take a look at the first best comp, and it's going to be 6 Cybernetics. They weren't really touched in terms of their traits, so they're still super strong as before. And your two main carries with the Cybernetics, it's going to be Irelia and Echo. Irelia is your main carry, so you want to give her like huge damage items like Infinity Edge, Hand of Justice, Guardian Angel for survival. You can give her Bloodthirster or even Giant Slayer if you don't have any of these. Just give her lots of good damage items. Echo, still really good. You got a minor nerf, but he's great with any ability power items. Morelos is good, so you can burn the whole enemy team. Spear of Shojin, he can recast the spell over and over again. And then if you have any other spear items, maybe like a Giant Slayer, that's good on Lucian. Give one item to each of your other Cybernetics so you get the full Cybernetic bonus. And aside from that, you also have 2 Mana Reavers with Thresh and 2 Chrono bonus with Shen and 3 Blade Masters, letting your Irelia do more damage. Also, Mana Reavers did get a buff in this patch, so there's no more 4 Mana Reavers, you just need to put 2 and you get the full effect. So Thresh should be a lot better in this patch. Irelia is also going to be quite a bit stronger, which means Cybernetics just got a little bit stronger with the new Mana Reaver bonus. One more thing to note is you do want to try to 3-star your Irelia in this comp. So once you get your Echo, you got your 6 Cybernetics on the board. You do want to save some gold so you can roll down later if your game goes any further. And just keep collecting Irelias. Once she hits 3 stars, it should be an easy first place. The second best comp we have is the Rebels, and this is basically the same Rebel build that has been super strong in patch 10.6 to 10.7. It's essentially the same, except for Gangplank just gets less damage, and Aurelion Soul also gets slightly less damage on the board. For Aurelion Soul, we got Seraph, Rabadon, Morelos, so any damage item and giving him lots of mana from the start is really good, of course. And then Jinx, you want to give her blaster items like Red Buff, Giant Slayer, Runons, which means she's going to be hitting a lot of enemies with the Giant Slayer bonus and the Red Buff burn. Gangplank's main item is going to be Guardian Angel because you want him to survive and at least fire off 1 cannon volley to hit everybody on the board. His stun is huge in this comp, so Guardian Angel is like almost a must on this guy. And then if you can give him a Rabadon and any other ability power items on top of this, he's going to do even more damage. So Gangplank is still good, but he just does a lot less damage if he doesn't have any like Rabadon Death Cap or Morelos, anything to boost his power up. But other than that, this comp should still be really strong if you have this kind of build going on and you can 2-star your Gangplank and 2-star Aurelion Soul, so it should be an easy top 4. So the third comp I have for you guys, it's the Sniper comp. Sniper's got a buff from 12% increased damage to 15%, so that's great. Snipers are already pretty good in 10.6, they just got better. And with this comp, you basically want to protect Jhin and Ashe with 4 Vanguards, or you can actually go 4 Mystics. Sometimes I like to go for Mystics if most of my opponents are magic damage like Rebels. So it depends on the situation. Look at your last remaining opponents and see if you have to go 4 Vanguards or 4 Mystics. You can always pivot between the two. 4 Mystics did get a nerf, so they are a little bit weaker, but it should be great against any comps that do rely on magic damage. But anyways, the standard is 4 Vanguard. So you collect all the 4 Mordekaiser, Jace, Wukong, Leona. You also get the new 3 Darkstar bonus. So if Mordekaiser or Karma dies, even if Jhin dies, every Darkstar champion now gets a bonus. So I think this is a bit of a buff for Darkstars because it's not so random anymore. Everybody will be getting a damage buff. So that's great. Your Jin's going to be stronger. And then once again, you got 2 Mystic bonus with Lulu and Karma. You get 2 Celestial bonus, you get some minor healing with the Ashe, and then 4 Vanguards once again for your front line. For Jhin, you want to give him massive damage items once again. Some of the best items, it's Infinity Edge. Runon, if you can hit 2 guys, that's good. You can even give him 2 Infinity Edge. Guardian Angel is good on Jhin because if he dies to a Shaco or something, he can just come back to life. Or if he gets pulled by a Blitzcrank by accident, by mispositioning or whatever, you know, he can just come back to life again. Jhin is very important in this comp. If he dies, you're almost going to just lose the whole round. So you really want to make sure Jhin is able to survive for most of the fight. But aside from that, this comp should be pretty darn good because it was good back in 10.6. It should be a top 4 if you can pull off this kind of build with huge damage items on Jhin. The fourth comp I have for you guys, it's the classic Blaster Brawlers. This comp has gotten me in the top 4 many times. Rarely have I been bottom 8 with this comp. Brawlers got a minor nerf in this patch, but it's very small. So this comp should still be fine, except for Ezreal did kind of get a bigger nerf, I think. In terms of the mana cost of his ability and the damage, it does a little bit less damage, and his EMP blast, it's going to take a longer time for him to fire it off. It was a pretty good ability because it did hit a huge amount of champions, and they couldn't cast their spells early enough. So I think the Ezreal's nerf is justified. So this comp is a little bit weaker for sure because of the Brawler nerf and the Ezreal nerf. But however, once you hit the 4 Brawlers and you get like a 2-star Jinx, it's almost a top 4. It's not the strongest comp if you can't get Misfortune 2 stars and you don't have some kind of build like this. You don't necessarily need to have these items, but if you don't have Misfortune 2 stars at the very late game, you'll probably just end up being 3rd or 4th. But I think this comp is still very consistent, super easy to build if you're a beginner. All you gotta do is collect 4 Brawlers, right? That's Malphite, Cho'Gath, Vi, Blitzcrank, and then 4 Blasters. That's going to be Jinx, Ezreal, Misfortune, Lucian. You can use Graves early game, but once you get Misfortune, replace the Graves with Misfortune. She's much stronger. She did get a nerf in this patch as well. However, once again, if you do give her items like Seraph, Spear of Shojin, and then Rabadon or Jewel Gauntlet, she's going to do a ton of damage. However, Misfortune is still really good. Jinx, once again, give her blaster items like Runons. Double Giant Slayer combo, that's great. Or you can give her a red buff once again. Red buff, Giant Slayer, Runons, that's pretty much the strongest blaster build because you're burning enemy champions and you're also dealing bonus health damage. So these are really good items for Jinx. And once again, 4 Blasters, they attack multiple champions at the same time. So that's what makes this comp super strong. You also got 2 Chronos with the 15% attack speed bonus for all your blasters, so that's a really good bonus. So the 5th comp I have for you guys, it's the 4 Infiltrator comp, and this comp can go many ways. The one I like for this build, it's the 3 Void build. So this one is not as reliant on, let's say, Shaco or 3-starring the Kai'Sa or getting a 2-star Echo. This build uses the power of true damage, and right now Voids are not being abused at all. No one plays this comp. Like, I've never seen this comp playing in ranked ever. I was the only one who abused it, and the times I have abused it, I've gotten easy top 4 with this build. So basically, you get the 3 Voids, of course, Kha'Zix, Vel'Koz, Cho'Gath, and then you get the mech pilots, Rumble, Annie, Fizz, and then you go 4 Infiltrators with Shaco, Kai'Sa. For Kai'Sa, you can replace her with Echo late game if you wanted to, but that's not necessary because if you have some items for Vel'Koz also got a buff in this patch, so he can actually fire his laser a bit faster. His laser does a lot of damage if it's true damage. Even without items, I found Vel'Koz to be super strong with the Void bonus. And all you have to do is, like, if you give him like a Rabadon, or if you give him a Morelos, and if you give him a Seraph, for example, he's going to be obliterating things on the board so fast, they're going to melt. He kills Xin Zhao. All those protector comps go down super fast with the Void true damage. And for Kha'Zix, I find him very easy to roll into 3 stars because no one plays him. So if you get to 3 stars with Kha'Zix, and then what I'd like to do is get 1 or 2 lockets for the team, because this team doesn't have a lot of tanks except for the mech pilots. So I like to build 1 or 2 lockets on a Kha'Zix, get him to 3 stars, and then shield my backline here with a ton of shield. Vel'Koz survives for a super long time with all the shield. And the enemy, they just can't do anything because they get obliterated by the true damage. And then Shaco jumps to the back. Sometimes I can 3-star him if no one buys him, and 3-star Shaco is still super strong. Give him Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, he's just gonna kill everything on the board as well. And then for the mech pilots, you want to give items to Rumble, and just give him something like Ionic Spark and Bramble Vest, which is a defensive combo. So you want to give defensive items for your mech pilots so they take less damage. Your mech pilots are essentially the only tank. Aside from Cho'Gath, he could be a tank, but you could even give Cho'Gath some damage items because his ultimate with true damage will also do a ton of damage. So I really like this 4 Infiltrator, 3 mech pilot, 3 Voids, and you also actually do get boosted spell power with the Sorcerer bonus in this build. And I think with the Vel'Koz buff as well, this build might be seeing a lot more play in ranks. So give it a shot. I think this build is highly underrated, and I think more people need to start looking into this. This is a really unique and fun build to play as well. For the 6th comp, we have the 6 Blade Masters. And with the 6 Blade Masters, we have, of course, Shen, Fiora, Mastery, Aurelia, Xayah, Kayle. Now you could put in Yasuo instead of Xayah, or you can just move around Mastery for Yasuo, whatever you want to do. But your main carries, it's going to be Kayle and Aurelia. Kayle is really strong with 2 Hand of Justice and Guinsoo's. I have tried this build a couple times, and this build was super strong on Kayle because Kayle heals so much with Hand of Justice. Even if she doesn't get the healing bonus, she might do double the damage, and it just eradicates whole enemy boards. This is the Exodia Kayle build. Now, if you don't get 2 Hand of Justice, that's fine. Even just 1 is very strong on her. Kayle is the primary carry of the 6 Blade Master build. 6 Blade Masters also got a buff as well. You get 60% chance to trigger at 6. So your Blade Masters will attack a bit more now. And Mana Reavers once again got a buff. So Thresh and Aurelia should be a lot stronger. With 2 Valkyrie bonus, Misfortune giving a lot more damage to Kayle as well. And then 2 Chrono once again, that's going to help out your team get more attack speed. Blade Masters love attack speed. But once again, this build is mainly focused on Kayle and Aurelia. Misfortune as well, because she does get the Valkyrie bonus. So once again, give her mana items like Seraph and Jeweled Gauntlet, and she will instantly fire her ult, and she'll do a lot more damage. So this build might not be super consistent right now, depending on what you get in terms of items and champions, how fast you get the KOs, because this build would require Kayle and Aurelia a little bit quicker than maybe the other builds. And because the patch did just hit, I'm not exactly sure if this build is super consistent, but I'd imagine this type of build, as I have played Kayle in the past in patch 10.6 with these items, and I have gotten easy top 4 whenever I did get 2 Hand of Justice on her. I'd imagine this build just to be even stronger now because the 6 Blade Masters got a buff. So give this build a shot, and let's move on to the last comp. It's gonna be the Dark Stars. And Dark Stars, as they have gotten reworked, and once again, I think this is a bit of a buff for Dark Stars, as every Dark Star champion now gets attack damage and spell power. It might be worth to hit the 6 Dark Stars as a final comp. This wasn't done before in high elo ranked. Most players went for just 3 Dark Stars, but now 6 Dark Stars might be viable with everybody just getting a buff. And this comp once again just uses 2 snipers, 2 celestials, 2 mystics with Ashe and Lulu. They are the best friends of Dark Star. And once again, you want to give Jhin all the items like Infinity Edge, Runon's Guardian Angel. This is a good example build for Jhin. Lots of damage, survivability with Guardian Angel. Now for your other items, you can put it on Shaco, Ashe, or Lux. Sometimes Mordekaiser. If you get a lot of tanky items, I would recommend you put it on Mordekaiser, but if it's any other damage items and Jin's carrying all of it, I would recommend you put it on Shaco, Ashe, or Lux, depending on what type of item it is. If it's like ability power stuff like Rabadon Cap, maybe Lux would be good for it, because Lux I think will still be easy to 3-star unless there's a lot of people buying Lux to get their own Dark Star comp. But I don't think Lux will be super popular. I could be wrong. She was like never played in patch 10.6, but maybe with 6 Dark Star buff, we'll see a lot more Lux played. And Lux might be a premium carry, we don't know. But Shaco, of course, still going to be really good, so he's going to be a great item holder. And basically, you're just using the power of 6 Dark Stars to try to win the game. Once again, I'm not exactly sure how consistent this comp will be, but I have gotten top 4 a couple times here and there with this comp. Even in the last patch, it wasn't very good in the last patch, so I wouldn't name this the best comp in the last for 10.6. But for 10.7, I actually believe this comp may be on one of the top 4 comps right now for TFT. I hope you guys enjoyed my best comps 10.7 video. Now, if there are any changes or if I find anything else that are better than any of these comps, I will definitely make videos for those, of course, as you guys already know. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other best comps, you can put in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.